Hi guys, welcome to my channel. With this video I am starting a new series of videos on AWS EC2 service. This is an introductory video where I will discuss about what is an EC2 service, what are EC2 instances, and will give an overview of various instance purchasing options like on-demand instances, reserved instance, and spot instances, etc. I will also talk about the use cases where we can use these different purchasing options. So without any further delay, let's get started. So what is EC2? EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So this 2 means there are two C in this term, E, C and another C. So that's why EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. In the context of cloud computing, elastic typically refers to the ability of a cloud service or resource to dynamically adjust its capacity. Example, compute storage in response to changing demand. So with changing demand, EC2 service provides us facility to elastically, dynamically adjust its capacity by using various mechanisms which we will see in detail in the upcoming videos. So for now you can understand it like this, that EC2 service is elastic service, elastic in nature, and it can reduce or increase according to the demand. EC2 is a web service provided by AWS that allows users to rent virtual servers referred to as instance on which they can run their own applications. EC2 provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud, making it easy to scale compute capacity up or down based on demand. So this is what elasticity means. You can launch as many or as few instances as you need. You can also configure networking, security and storage. You can choose the template to create the instance based on Linux, Mac OS or Windows operating systems. These templates are known as AMI, Amazon Machine Image, which contains software configurations such as operating system, application server and applications required to launch an EC2 instance. Essentially, an AMI is like a snapshot of virtual machine that you can use as a template to create new EC2 instances. EC2 provides various configurations of instance types. You can choose from based on your CPU, network, storage, memory, and graphics hardware requirements, ranging from small and economical instances to high compute and performance instances. To launch an EC2 instance, there are several options available. The EC2 instances can be launched using AWS Management Console, AWS CLI commands, AWS SDKs, or IAC code like CloudFormation, Terraform, etc. The instance will be launched within minutes and is ready to use. In the upcoming videos, we will see all these concepts in detail, like how to launch the EC2 instance, how to select the instance type, and what is an AMI. So we will see all these things in details. So this is an overview about what is an EC2 instance. So let us now see a basic architecture of EC2, how it is placed in the AWS infrastructure. So this is the basic architecture diagram of EC2 instance deployed within a VPC. This is taken from AWS documentation, for which I will provide the reference link in the description box. So our instance, this instance is located inside an availability zone in the VPC, in the public subnet in our VPC. It is secured by a security group, which is a virtual firewall that controls the incoming and outgoing traffic. And with this EC2 instance, we have attached an EBS volume. This EBS volume, you can think of it like a hard drive attached to your computer or laptop. The EC2 instance can be accessed using private key from the local computer. The public key is stored in the EC2 instance. You can connect using the private key using tools like PuTTY. The instance communicates with the internet, with the outside world using an internet gateway, which is a VPC level component. So this is a basic architecture of an EC2 instance, how it is placed inside the AWS infrastructure. I have created videos on AWS networking and this AWS infrastructure, where you can find these concepts of VPC, subnets, routing, internet gateway, etc. I have discussed these in detail with practical demos. I'll provide a link in the description box, and I would suggest to go through those videos first if you are new to these concepts of VPC, subnet, internet gateway, availability zones. So it would be better if you watch those videos first and come back to EC2 instance. So EC2 provides different purchasing options, which enables us to optimize cost based on our needs or requirements. So what are the different purchasing options? Let us see. First purchasing option is on demand. In on demand, you pay for the compute capacity by the second with no long-term commitment. On demand instances are recommended to be used for short-term, irregular workloads that cannot be interrupted. For example, instances for development and testing where workload requirements may vary. Instances can be spin up as needed for testing new features, running automated tests, or experimenting with different configurations. With on-demand instances, you pay only for the seconds that your on-demand instances are in running state, with a 60-second minimum. The use cases are like short-term projects where there is no long-term commitment to infrastructure such as data analysis, batch processing, or anything that need to be hosted temporarily. Then the second purchasing option is reserved instances. This is a purchasing option offered by AWS where we get significant discount on EC2 instances usage compared to on-demand pricing. When you purchase a reserved instance, you commit to using a specific instance configuration, instance type, platform, region, and term length for a 1 or 3 year period at a lower hourly rate. This is beneficial for use cases where you have predictable usage patterns for long term. For example, production environments where you can expect a stable workload over an extended period. Other use cases of reserved instances are reserved instances can be used to reserve capacity for critical components of your infrastructure such as database servers, caching servers, or load balancers. This ensures that you have reserved capacity available to handle your core workloads even during periods of increased demand. And we have reserved instances, we have an option to reserve the instances for 1 year or 3 year period. 3-year commitment offers bigger discount as compared to 1 year commitment. Reserved instances provide a significant discount which can be up to 72% compared to on-demand pricing, and provides a capacity reservation when used in a specific availability zone. And there are several payment options available for reserved instances, like you can pay all upfront, partial upfront, and no upfront with monthly like kind of EMI. Then another instance purchasing option is spot instances. Spot instances are a way to rent computing power from AWS at a discount. Instead of paying a fixed price, you bid on unused capacity, potentially paying much less. They are best for tasks that can handle interruptions like data analysis, batch jobs, background processing, or testing, which are non-critical, and interruptions does not affect you, as they may be terminated if demand increases and others bid higher. You can think of spot instances like AWS having some extra computers sitting around that are not in use at all the time. AWS lets people bid on those extra computers. You place a bid saying how much you are willing to pay per hour to use one of those computers. If your bid is higher than the current price, which can change depending on supply and demand, you get to use the computer at that lower price. but if someone bids higher than you, they get to use it instead, and you may lose access to it. So spot instances are great if you are okay with your computer occasionally being taken away if someone else is willing to pay more and you are looking to save some money on computing costs. Then we have another instance purchasing option, which is dedicated host. Dedicated hosts are physical servers that are fully dedicated for your use. It is like renting an entire physical server from AWS. You have the server all to yourself without sharing it with other users' virtual servers instances. It is suitable for businesses with specific compliance or licensing requirements that need to run on dedicated hardware. However, it is typically more expensive than other EC2 instance types because you are paying for the entire server, regardless of how much you use it. Dedicated hosts provide BYOL, bring your own license support, which means you can use your existing software licenses from third-party vendors on AWS infrastructure. For example, if a company has purchased licenses for software applications such as Microsoft Windows Server, SQL Server, or Oracle Database, they can bring those licenses to AWS and use them on EC2 instances or dedicated hosts without having to purchase new licenses from AWS. This can result in cost savings and flexibility for organizations that already have significant investments in software licenses and want to migrate their workloads to the cloud. Then other instance purchasing option is dedicated instances. Dedicated instances runs on dedicated hardware which is not shared with other users at the same time. But if you stop the instance can be placed in some other physical server. But that server will be dedicated to you. You will not be sharing that underlying physical server with other users. So the difference between dedicated instance and dedicated host is, in dedicated host, the underlying physical server will always be the same. If you restart the instance, it will be placed in the same underlying physical server in case of dedicated host. And dedicated instances are suitable for workloads that require instance level isolation but don't necessarily need the additional control over underlying physical server provided by the dedicated host. So these were the different purchasing options we have for EC2 instances. Now if we talk about the pricing of EC2 instances, it depends on several factors like instance type based on varying combinations of compute, memory, storage and networking resources to meet different workload requirements. For example, in on-demand instances, we pay for compute capacity by the hour or second with no long-term commitment, which is also known as pay-as-you-go pricing model. You only pay for the time in which you are using the instance. For reserved instances, we pay for fixed term of 1 or 3 years, so we have a lot of options to choose. EC2 pricing model offers lot of flexibility and cost effectiveness, allowing us to choose the most suitable pricing option based on our workload requirements, budget constraints and usage patterns. So EC2 service offers a lot of flexibility in choosing the different instance types and their various pricing models, and you can choose those depending on your requirement according to your budget or cost constraints. So this is all about in the introduction to EC2. We will go through these concepts one by one in detail in the upcoming videos in this playlist. So stay tuned for upcoming videos. If you like the video, please leave your comment for any feedback or suggestions for improvement. And if you have not already subscribed, please subscribe for more such videos. Thank you for your time.